Hi, this is Delma. Welcome back to my channel of Books and Soul. So this week I wanted to talk to you about a French classic called Le Petit Prince, written by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. It is considered a children's book, but I think all adults should read it at some point in their lives. Le Petit Prince is definitely one of the most successful books of Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. It has been translated in over 300 languages and dialects. The copy I have here is in French, but you can definitely get it in English. It is translated as The Little Prince. So the author of this book is Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. He was born in Lyon. He studied architecture, then he stopped, and he became a commercial pilot. During the war, he joined the French Air Force. He actually disappeared on a mission over the Mediterranean, and 1944 is thought of as the year when he died. You can definitely tell that the narrator of this book was a pilot, because you see right from the start, for example, that the narrator is also a pilot. There are many motifs connected with the desert, the sky, the planets. So definitely there is the aspect of flying and exploring and discovering in this book. The book is about a pilot who crashes on a desert where he meets the little prince, who we learn has basically left his little planet and has been traveling to various different planets in the universe. Until he finally arrives on Earth. It's essentially a story of friendship between the two, where we slowly learn more and more about the Little Prince, his story, and we see how the relationship between the narrator and the Little Prince develops. So this story might seem a little bit absurd, because you have this little prince who basically travels from one planet to another, meeting these strange grown-ups, as he describes them, whether it's the businessman, the vain man, the king, the fox, plants, the snake. Okay, so in this sense, the book is very symbolic. I think each time that I will read this book, I will discover something new. There are 4 symbols that I want to mention. There are the stars, there's water, there's the desert, and then there's the rose. So stars keep popping up all over the place in this book. They are definitely a way to point to something more mysterious, something vast, something greater than we are. The mystery of the heavens, of the universe. They definitely point to the beyond. Then there is the desert. The desert is the place where the pilot has crashed, and that's the place of the meeting between the little prince and the narrator. So the desert, I think, overwhelms with its vastness and its emptiness. But on the other hand, it is also the place where the narrator and the little prince meet. So it's actually a place where ideas and life lessons can grow and get nourishment from this friendship between the little prince and the narrator. And then there's water, which in this book, I think, symbolizes a nourishment and a quenching of a thirst that is much more than just a physiological need of human beings. There is a moment when the narrator gives water to the little prince, but I think you will notice that in this moment, this water becomes a symbol of deeper joy and a greater fulfillment than just, drinking water because you're thirsty. So water in the desert is definitely a powerful symbol. The 4th symbol I mentioned is the rose, the famous rose. And I think the rose is a symbol of love. Love that can hurt, and love that requires sacrifice, and love that is a choice also. You will see the relationship that the little prince has with his flower, with his beautiful rose, and it will become clear, I think. I'd like to share with you now some of the themes that I really liked in this book, that I thought were beautiful. There is definitely much more to discover and see and explore in this book, so my list of themes is definitely not exhaustive. One of the first things you will notice when you begin reading this book is that the author differentiates strongly between adults and children. So for the author, the adults have kind of lost this childlike curiosity about the world and this ability to kind of see what really matters. He uses various examples and various grown-ups that the little prince meets to show us that the adults care only or mainly about counting and numbers and money and, doing, as he repeats often, serious things. They almost seem to be stuck in their world. They can be vain. They can be obsessed with kind of finding solutions to not waste time, which are a bit pointless. For example, there's a geograph who doesn't explore the planet, so he's basically just sitting with his books, but he has never seen anything outside those books. So the little prince comes in contact with these people and he just doesn't understand. The beautiful thing about the little prince is that he keeps asking questions. So, and the author repeats this many, many times, that once the little prince has asked the question, he will not let go. Even once he gets an answer, he judges it in his mind, in his heart, and he sees if that is a satisfying answer for him. So nothing is taken for granted by the little prince. Little prince is someone who looks at reality with the eyes of a child. So with this simplicity, with this curiosity. Children are the ones who look just beyond the superficial. They ask the right questions. The other theme that is beautiful, it's probably one of the most beautiful themes of this book, is the theme of love and of responsibility. So there is this beautiful dialogue between the little prince and a fox that he meets. He says that once you tame someone, you really know that someone. He uses the word tame, I think in the English translation, or it can also be domesticate. So basically it means once you get to know someone, once you've invested time into a relationship, you are now responsible for that person. You are now responsible for the relationship you have. So the fox means that once you tame something, it becomes yours. It becomes valuable to you, special, unique. Just like the rose for the little prince. Even though there's a million of roses that are just as beautiful, even maybe more beautiful than the rose that the prince has, that rose is his because it is tamed. So it's a beautiful way to look at love, at friendship, at relationships. And it's a very essential lesson that the fox teaches the little prince. There is a quote that I want to cite also because it's beautiful. It basically sums up the lesson, one of the main lessons of the book. So here goes. One sees clearly only with the heart. All essential is invisible to the eyes. It's the time that you spend on your rose that makes your rose so important. People have forgotten this truth, but you mustn't forget it. You become responsible for what you've tamed. You're responsible for your rose. So this is a lesson that the fox teaches the little prince, and then the little prince teaches the narrator, and so on and so on. And the last theme that I really like, even though it's not one of the major ones, I think it's a minor one, is that there is a beauty in the everyday mundane tasks that we have. The little prince takes care of his planet every day. He does the same things every day. So he cleans his volcanoes, he waters his rose, etc., etc. And it seems like it's a simple and kind of boring way, to live every day. But he finds beauty in these things he does. He knows that there's a point to him being there for his volcanoes and his rose. He knows he's responsible for all the things he has around him. He's not lazy, and he really is happy doing the things that he has to do to make sure that his planet is safe and beautiful and a nice home for him. So, do I recommend this book? Yes, 100%. I give it 5 stars, 6, 7, 8. It is beautiful, and I know that I will be coming back to it. There's so much more to be learned from it. For example, in many ways, I would like to be like the little prince, or I would like to learn to be like the little prince, in that I'd like to have this curiosity about everything, and I would like to not be afraid to ask questions sometimes. I would really like to see if I am not like one of those adults from this book, if there is still this childlike way of looking at the world inside of me. I would also like to take the fox's advice seriously, in that I would like to see how are my relationships with others, especially the one with my husband. Am I aware of the fact that I am responsible for him, that he is my rose, which I have tamed? Aside from that, my relationships with my family, my friends, strangers, what are they like? And of course, I would like to rediscover this beauty and enthusiasm for the more boring, let's say, everyday mundane tasks that I have to do. So that even those boring moments will become moments I look forward to. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked the book. If so, I hope to see you here next week. Bye!